Welcome back, everybody, to the Voices for Blogging podcast. We're at Faces for Radio and Voices for Blogging. From Honolulu, I'm Steve Lee, and in LA, there's Royce Hamano. You can follow us on the Podbean app, Apple Podcasts, and also on Google. You can also follow us on Instagram at Voices for Blogging. Feel free to drop us a message. Today on our show, Royce is going to take his victory lap on his Super Bowl pick.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Ethereum 2000. Big day for us when that happened, getting us all excited about our cryptocurrency investments. And with that, let's bring in Royce. Royce, how you doing?
I'm doing a lot better after the Super Bowl. I'm doing
what
a lot
week
better.
for you, man. What a
Feel a
week
lot
for you.
better.
What a couple weeks for you. Super Bowl, Ethereum 2000. It's good to be Royce.
It's always good to be Royce. I mean, there's never not a good day that's good to be Royce.
Did you go third person on me? Are you freaking kidding me?
No.
If Ethereum goes to 2000, now you feel like you can go third person on me?
Just what a Super Bowl win. What a game. Not the game that I was expecting. I don't think anyone else expected.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I only can take half a victory lap on this Super Bowl because I kept stuck with my over, but I did end up putting money on Tampa Bay. So, I get one of those boring washout kind of Super Bowls.
Push.
Yeah, boring. Pay some juice. I guess it's fun, but I wanted the game to be a little more entertaining, but it was great to see Brady do it and see Gronk and all these guys and see them kind of elevate that team. So, in that case, it was fun to watch that.
How do you think Belichick is feeling?
I think he's feeling just fine. When it's all said and done, it was something that, the Patriots are just in salary cap hell. So even if Brady stayed, I don't know how much better they would have been.
I don't think they would have been that good. I mean, it was clear last year that they didn't have the weapons that they needed on offense and defense this year. How many people sat out because of COVID, right? So
Correct.
I don't think they would have had a chance. I thought Cam, had he stayed not injured, he looked good in the first couple games.
Yeah, just conditioning catches up with you, and what surgeries as he had over the years, it just it wears on you. And,
he even if you're 6'5", 250, however big he is, it takes its toll over time, man.
It takes its toll. The hits he's taken, being a running quarterback that he is, there was no pop when he ran. You just didn't see that burst. And, it's just one of those things. But look how competitive they were. I mean, you talk about a captain in their defense didn't come to play. Dante Hightower wasn't in all season, and they didn't have a whole bunch of weapons. And, Brady, all the reports are that Brady already made up his mind before the start of last season that he was leaving. So, I don't think there's any animosity. I'm sure when it's all said and done, one day down the road, Belichick will talk about how happy he is for Tom, and it is what it is. Too much is made of it. It
is what it is.
Yep. So, but how did it feel like to see your bet kind of look pretty good come halftime?
It's always scary. You never know what's going to happen from half to half. I was actually looking for Kansas City to make adjustments, and they just didn't make any adjustments, it seems. I mean, you could tell that they were getting pressure on Mahomes, and I thought they would at least try to maybe run the ball a little bit more. Or maybe go for some screen passes, things like that to take the pressure off, rolling out of the pocket. But it just seems like they continue with the same game plan, try to look downfield quite a bit, and they never got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there was a lot of times where Mahomes kind of looked deeper than what he had in front of him instead of taking what he had. But I think the part that made it complicated for them too is that, and that's the challenge of watching a game on TV, is we don't get to see how the whole field is covered. But one of the things you definitely notice is they put a lot of pressure on him without any blitzes. And they have really fast linebackers. So, these guys come in on the backfield, even if they can catch the ball, there's really nowhere for them to go.
Yeah.
And, at the times where Kelsey was open, he got 10, 12-yard chunks. And did Mahomes probably bypass the field? Then probably. I don't know if that would have been a difference in the game. But I think the part that was interesting was they didn't really start chip blocking until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, so I think they probably thought they had something, and they obviously didn't. And, the special plays the Chiefs usually make, because they always make special plays.
Yeah.
They didn't make any of them.
Yeah, they didn't make them. Like they
They didn't
just
make any of them.
dropped the ball. They had a lot.
Can we not
They
talk
had a lot
about?
of
Can we
big
not
drops.
talk about prop bet? Can we not talk about my
Yeah,
prop bet?
that's the one I was thinking about too.
That's
Hey,
killer. That,
he had a chance.
that would
It
have been a
would have been a
historic
face.
play. A historic play in Super Bowl history. Mahomes is diving, throws a submarine, hits Darrell Williams in the face. Darrell Williams catches that ball. My prop bet hits, and it's history.
Honestly, I can't believe that bet didn't hit.
That's crazy.
But
That's crazy. The guy had
he had,
6 targets. It's
he had
six
chances.
targets.
It's not like he didn't have chances.
No, I mean he obviously did. It hit him in the face.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You know, a
I
guy
mean,
doesn't catch a ball. He's like a DB. Sorry, A. Wright, if you're listening. It's just that, it's like a DB didn't catch the ball.
yeah. That's all you can ask for though. But from my understanding, I mean, I haven't seen the full field, replays or anything like that. But from my understanding, they were playing a lot of cover two, right? Or at least too deep, not cover two, but too deep at least.
Yeah. And, again, the speed underneath that they had, it really was something that the Chiefs, didn't have much of an answer for because the pressure was coming too fast. When you look at it plainly, both your starting tackles are out against a really strong pass rush. In Super Bowl's past, that's enough to win a Super Bowl. And that's why I changed my bet. That's why. Remember we were talking about it. I said the dumb bet is KC and over. So one of them was wrong. Turns out both of them are wrong. And so you look at it from a strictly football point of view. It's like I've seen it. I'm a Giants fan. I saw it twice against the Patriots. You put pressure on a quarterback with just 4 guys rushing without blitzes, changes the game.
Yeah, just any game that's true.
Changes the game.
Changes the game. And you know where it didn't happen? Chicago against Indianapolis.
Well, because they couldn't get the pressure on them.
No, they had great all season long. They had a great front four.
Yep.
But
couldn't get the pressure.
And then once you got Rex Grossman as your starting quarterback,
fumbleitis.
It's tough sledding.
Heavy rain, small hands, fumbles the ball. Just
so I don't remember my last Super Bowl bet, but I do know that I won betting on that Super Bowl. I'm a Bears fan, so that's saying something.
That was as easy money a Super Bowl as I could remember.
That's saying something.
Yeah, that Super Bowl was easy money. But
that might have been the last Super Bowl that I did bet actually.
Really? That's
maybe,
not true.
yeah.
There's
no, I probably bet. Yeah, you're probably right.
No, there's no way because that year we went to Vegas together. You left some money up there on the Super Bowl after we were there for the championship games.
So you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Great trip.
Yeah.
Maybe this fall, man.
No, this fall for sure.
Let's make it happen.
Who's the biggest rookie coming out? Who's the biggest rookie quarterback coming out? Probably Trevor Lawrence.
You have Trevor Lawrence coming out, but I just think
his name is not chantable though.
But I think all the movement of quarterbacks, which I love seeing, I like that teams are willing to cut bait, even if they have a contract. Just cut bait, move on. If a guy's not the guy, move on. It is what it is.
Yeah. Where did Wentz go again?
Wentz went to Indy, right back to Frank Reich.
That's right.
He had the best season under Frank Reich as his OC. So we'll kind of see how it all plays out. And it was playing in his head. The Super Bowl thing probably weighed in his head psychologically. Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, not him. Guys in the locker room reported that he liked Foles better than he liked Wentz, and it's a tough spot to be in, I think.
Yeah, no, it sounds tough. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously we don't know what happens in the locker room, but I mean, it seems like Wentz is an okay quarterback. I think teams give up on quarterbacks too quickly. Like, I still don't understand the LA Rams giving up on Jared Goff so quickly.
I get it. I completely disagree with you. I think that is the best lay down that we've seen in a while.
So I disagree with that. I think that a lot of it has to do with play calling. Like the year that they went to the Super Bowl, and even the year I think it was the year before that when they became a top ranked offense. There was more of an even distribution between running and passing the ball, which opened up a lot of the play action, right? When, for whatever reason, when Gurley got hurt or they stopped using him as much, they went to basically 70% passing offense, and it became too predictable. And I think to me, just watching the Rams over these last couple of years, that's the biggest difference between the years of success and the years that Goff has struggled. And the offense has struggled, my opinion.
Okay, so, and this is probably been the first time we're going to be so opposite ends of something.
Yeah.
I don't know since the start of this podcast we're going to be so opposite ends of something. And probably because I don't live in LA, I just probably look at it differently than you do.
Yeah.
When you got to talk to a quarterback the whole time that you can into his helmet,
Yep.
that's a pretty good sign that there's no trust in that situation. That
No,
there's
no,
something that there's something that he sees in meetings, in his play, in their conversations that tells him that's not his guy.
I agree. I think it came down to more about relationship because, the message that Goff put out there after he left basically said that, hey, I'd rather be with a organization that values me, which, obviously that's a dig at the Rams and that organization.
And that's okay. And here's the thing. I point back to this time because I remember I said this to a friend of mine. The first year Jared Goff went to the Pro Bowl, which was the year the Rams were an outstanding offense.
Yeah.
It was one of the worst performances of a quarterback in a Pro Bowl I've ever seen in my life. It's the flipping Pro Bowl. It's a 7-on-7. It's essentially a 7-on-7 skelly drill. Like, it's just passing league.
Yeah.
Like, quarterbacks who light it up. He looked terrible. And so you look at that, you say there's something missing there. Now you add to it that McVay has to talk to him so damn much. It almost seems like he doesn't get the process. And that's the picture that's getting sent. And so, yeah, they didn't believe in him. And they're not the guys that drafted him anyway. That's not his quarterback.
No, that was from Fisher.
Yeah, it's from Fisher. And so they tried to make a go of it. They got to the Super Bowl, and it is what it is. They didn't make the special plays, and yeah, he got outcoached, but Goff got also outplayed also. And it's one of those things where it could work out well for both teams. We'll see. We'll see what Stafford's like in a situation where he has a top-notch defense, and let's put in a winning organization. I mean, the Rams are a winning organization in the last few years. So it's going to be interesting. He's never been in this position before. We'll see.
He's never had a good defense, that's for sure.
Definitely not. Not this kind of defense. This defense is amazing. And, the Gurley thing, obviously Gurley was, no matter how much he denies it, he was run down.
Yeah. I mean, he did carry the rock more this year in Atlanta, though. And
he what did it look like?
But yeah, he's not the same Gurley that he was 3 years ago.
And the run game this year was good. They did it with 3 running backs. They had a really good running game this year.
Yeah. Cam Akers is pretty good.
Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, like those guys are solid. Brown's the perfect backup because he'll just take the roll, take the rock when it's his turn. Yeah. But you got these young guys in Henderson who was amazing at Memphis. And you got Cam Akers, who obviously, lived up to some of the billing. We want to see him stay healthy. But I think putting a veteran quarterback in there now at a bargain basement rate, for his contract right now, it's a bargain basement rate for the going rate for quarterbacks.
It'll be interesting to see.
I don't think I think Stafford gives him a better chance to win a Super Bowl than Goff does.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think Stafford's done it for a longer period of time.
At a higher level.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Because that's a dysfunctional franchise in Detroit. Like
sure.
They cannot get anything right. They just cannot get a thing right.
But he also played with Megatron for a while, right?
Yeah, one guy.
He's been retired now but that guy's a monster, dude.
Right, but
that guy's open every play.
Is he though?
Yeah, he is. He's played
This isn't Madden we're talking about. But remember, now to win, you gotta have a team. You gotta have a team around you.
No, for sure.
Without a defense, you very rarely are gonna win in this league without a defense.
No, you're as a quarterback, it doesn't matter. Like, you're not gonna win without a good defense. That's for sure. But at the same time, success on offense it's a team thing as well, right? I mean, yes, a lot of it rests on the quarterback, making the right reads, making the throws, but the plays that you run make a big difference too.
Well, I mean, look at this year, right? How many times, actually, in the last 2 years, how many times did Detroit have a lead in a game? Like, pretty good leads. Like, they would have, 20-point leads, and then they lose. Like, it was the easiest second half bet ever. Detroit's up, I'm going to bet on the other team.
That was last year.
This past year and last year was the same thing. They just blow leads. So to me, that's going to start, yes, with some offensive play calling, but your defense got to stop somebody.
Yeah, your defense, like, this is the best. This is going to be the best defense that Matthew Stafford's ever had. Because Detroit's defense has never been very good.
Right. So if Stafford can put up points the way he did in Detroit, that defense plays the way it plays, hey, you got something. So we'll see. This is why I said.
We'll see.
But this is why I'm excited for the season, because you got guys that have gripes. You know, Carson Wentz gonna have a big chip on his shoulder. Jared Goff gonna have a big chip on his shoulder. Wherever the hell Deshaun Watson lands, Sam Darnold might move. Like, there's so much movement. It'd be interesting to see kind of how everything's gonna play out.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting.
Russell Wilson making noise, which I don't think that amounts to anything other than Russell Wilson's making noise. You know,
he's there. He's there for a long time. He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. But you know, see how
the Dak Northwest, man.
Let's see how Dak kind of plays out, how the drama with Dak plays out. I don't think we've heard the end of what's going to happen in Dallas.
That was my fantasy quarterback, man. That's my fantasy quarterback.
It's my quarterback. Oh, T.O. How we miss you, T.O. How we miss you.
That was awesome, though.
You know, Royce, I do have to appreciate the fact that we disagree like that, and you know, but it doesn't, you know, it just goes there. This is your opinion. It's my opinion. We good.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, honestly, we'll see next season.
And it's hard, right? Because hard because you can't ever really know anyway, no matter what.
We're not in the locker room. Like, we're not practicing with them every day. Like,
but even if the outcome works out one way or another, how do you really ever know any of the opinions were really right? Like, you don't know. I mean, one thing I can definitely say for sure is Detroit ain't going to the Super Bowl. So all I'm saying is your case is going to be the harder one to make than mine was.
Yeah, because Goff is going to be throwing a shitload.
And a shitload of picks on top of that too, by the way. He does lead he is in the top 5 in turnovers in the league the last couple of years.
Oh my God, yeah, you know, but yeah, he's been really bad at turning the ball over. A lot of it is he doesn't take care of the ball very well.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things that say you're in a win now mode with that defense. Take a chance, take a shot, and go.
You know what? There's a lot worse you can do with Stafford too.
That is my point, and you just can't give up the ball like that. Giving up the ball is the easiest way to lose games.
But again, I cannot support a guy who beat the Warriors in the Sugar Bowl. I just cannot.
Royce, you know just as much as I do that by about the middle of the second quarter of that game in Louisiana, we were so drunk it didn't even matter. We were having a good time.
Actually, by the second series, I knew it was not going to be good.
I mean, honestly, the highlight of that game was Willie K singing Hawaii Pono'i. I mean, other than that, I don't know. It is what it is. Waving tea leaves, you know, that kind of stuff. That was cool in Louisiana, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
That's all I have to report about that game.
It was fun. It was fun.
It was. I mean, the gambling at Harrah's was fantastic. I had one of my best trips ever gambling on that trip. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, the Georgia fans were pretty nice after we got whooped.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's what I've told myself 14 years later. It's okay. We got our ass whooped.
Scarred.
But we also know we'll never get there again. So thank you, Jude Jones.
Yep.
Thank you, Jude Jones, for that experience.
It was once in a lifetime, man.
It was. That's why we all went.
Yeah.
We all knew it. Oh, Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
So from that somber news, let's kind of move on to just the thing that you and I have been focusing a lot on in the last 2 weeks, because there's just been so much action, and that's the crypto market. We're gonna have to get Ken back on the show again, by the way, and let's get a little more roundtable kind of going on.
Yeah, definitely. I know that he wants to.
Yeah, I want to hear his opinion. Just kind of see, and this has just been such a great experience. And again, thanks for kind of educating me and our audience on cryptos. I hope everyone's out there being responsible. If you dipped your toes into this stuff, again, we're not giving financial advice here. We're just saying what we're doing and what's interesting to us.
Not at all. No financial advice.
So, what do you think, Royce? What do you think about this latest run that Ethereum and Bitcoin and really all the cryptos across the board have experienced?
Oh my God, man. It's been crazy. No, Ethereum finally went over 2K for a little bit. Bitcoin is like up at 58K. My goodness. What is there to say? It's a bull market. It's a bull market right now.
It's a raging bull with an all-time high of 2040 on Ethereum, $2,040. Bitcoin right now is trading at 56,167 with an all-time high of 58,481. So it's quote unquote down right now.
Yeah.
I remember a month ago mulling over whether I was going to buy it at 30,000. I missed that boat.
Yeah. So are you gonna buy? The question is, are you gonna buy now?
On a little bit more of a pullback, probably below 55 or 54 or so, I'll probably nibble and buy a part of one. Yeah, I will.
Hmm.
Because it obviously has some momentum. I look at these charts and I look at these charts and I try to judge them the same way I judge charts in the stock market. And these charts are, parabolic. I mean, the
Oh
slope
yeah.
of it's so high. So my strategy has been just like in a bull market that you worry that it's the end of a run and in short term. I have a lot of tight stops in on my orders. My stop limits are really tight. And so if it drops, I'll just be out and I'll just jump back in later. No big deal.
Yeah.
So, but as a whole, I mean, the trades have been going well. I'm really fortunate in that way. And but just watching the ranges and watching the bottoms in the charts. That's really what I've been going by when I decide I'm going to buy into something. But look at all those companies in the stock market that are now investing in Bitcoin. What do you think about that?
It's actually very interesting that there's so many institutions now that are getting into crypto. It's actually something that people have been talking about now for a little while, and now that it's finally happening, it is crazy. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you got companies like Tesla and Square had been in it for a while. MicroStrategies, like, what do you know about MicroStrategy as a company? Never take the cryptocurrency out of it. In the tech world, like, how do people benefit from being a customer of MicroStrategy?
Like, aren't they like just primarily like a fund and custody?
Is it like royalties, like how Qualcomm is, where they just owe a lot of patents, and then people are using their tech?
That I'm not really sure. I don't know like a whole lot
So
about.
so that's my point. So a guy like you that knows enough about the tech industry doesn't, can't really just pull out, hey, what does MicroStrategy do? Other than be heavy investors in Bitcoin. They raised money recently just to buy more
Yeah, to buy
Bitcoin.
one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. When this run started, the stock was about $380. The
Hmm.
stock is at 1,000. All that happened in a span of about 3 months.
That's crazy. They're
That's Bitcoin fueled, nothing else, nothing other than Bitcoin.
yeah. Even Tesla, right, basically made $1 billion already on Bitcoin. They bought at 30K, I think.
Right. They bought
Something
it 30,
ridiculous like that. Yeah.
somewhere around 30K, which really what catapulted this last run. I mean, it really was the jolt into the Bitcoin market, because once they announced they made that buy, it quickly went to the mid 40s, and it
Yeah.
hasn't looked back.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about this industry right now is that there's so much happening in the space in all kinds of different areas that it's very hard to keep up on everything that's happening. It's
Right.
a full-time job, and even with just myself and Ken, and some of our other business partners focused on what's happening in the market, there's no way that we're aware of everything that's happening. There's so
Right.
much that's going on. It's a full-time job to keep up with everything, to keep up with some of the things that are happening.
Right.
It's
You
it's
and I
pretty.
have you and I have a lot of conversations about the DeFi aspect of everything. And if you can, I know we've talked about this before, but I really kind of want to nail this down, because I think this is a part of the market that no one really understands outside of people that are really into crypto. And I think it's an opportunity that if people would just understand, you would kind of see the benefits of it. Can you explain to them again what a DeFi loan is, and why it's such a big deal, why it's attractive, and why people use it.
Yeah, I mean, the case for DeFi loans, which the way that it works is that you provide collateral in the form of any, crypto that you have, and you can take out a loan, on depends on the platform, but typically up to say 80% loan to value of the collateral that you have. And when you're doing that, you don't have to fill out like any forms. You don't have to provide your credit score. Like they don't have to know who you are. All they know is that you have this collateral and you can take out a loan. You know, for me, like I don't have a W-2, so I can't get a traditional loan anywhere. So for me, it's the ideal thing because all I have to do is put in collateral, and I can take out a loan if I need to or want to, which is huge. And the cool thing about these loans is that when you provide your collateral, you're also earning a little bit of interest on that collateral that you provide as well. So the rates that you're getting are a little bit offset by the collateral that you provide in. There's actually a lot of innovation happening in the space as well. So there's a new platform basically that one of the things that they're doing is when you provide that collateral, they're looking for opportunities to earn yield on that collateral. So like interest basically, right? And what they'll do is say you provide collateral of 100K and you take out a loan for 50K. What they'll do with your collateral is they'll find opportunities to get the highest amount of yield that they can get for your collateral. And what they'll do is with that yield, they'll pay back the debt that you took out, which is really interesting, right? Because
So it helps pay down your principal.
it helps
So
pay down your principal.
and then what kind of interest rates do you pay? Like you've taken a DeFi loan out before. What kind of rates do they charge you on the loan side of things?
Yeah, so it depends. So the lending platforms have basically rates where you can have a variable rate, which goes up as more of the collateral is borrowed, or you can have a stable rate that tries to keep a rate that's generally flat. But again, if there's extreme cases where there is a ton of collateral being loaned out, then the rates will go up
Right.
for that stable rate. But primarily, if the stable rates are more stable, and the variable rates just depend on the market. But on Aave, which is a platform that I use probably the most for lending and borrowing, the stable rate in I would say normal times is around to like 8.9%. For the variable rate, 3.8 when there's times where there's less, the collateral, a lot of the collateral, a higher percentage of the collateral is being lent out. I've seen it go to like 20%, 30%, but it typically only stays at that rate until, some of the collateral is paid back. So it's not like it's there for months.
Right.
At least not that I've seen.
And they charge you monthly on that interest. You got to pay monthly on that interest like a regular loan.
No, so
When
it's,
it
it's
went
actually it's actually interesting. So you accrue the interest that
right.
and you only pay it back whenever you're ready to pay it back.
Okay, so let me tie this up for everybody. So let's say you put in collateral for 100,000 worth of Ethereum. So your collateral, you throw that collateral in, and we'll use your example of going 50%. So you borrow 50 grand.
Yep.
Now, if that Ethereum that you put in goes up for your collateral, goes up 50K, then the loan takes care of itself. At that point in time, you close the loan and you keep the money you borrowed, and you get back the initial 50K's, 100K worth of Ethereum.
Exactly.
I mean, that's amazing. So, and then you look at the fact that when you go in for the loan, there's no paperwork. So there's no closing fees. Like we get all these fees that the banks charge us for the transaction. That's, where you have your assessments and you have your appraisals of your home, all these extra taxes. You don't pay any of that stuff, and you get the money instantaneously for the most part, correct?
Instantaneously, yeah. There might be a small fee when you take out the loan, like 0.5% or something maybe.
Right,
I
which
think
is still
it obviously depends on the platform.
right.
But yeah,
But
it's
and
not.
then you pay as you go. You pay as you can.
Yeah, or you
So it
don't have to
only
pay at all.
but it only comes due if at some point in time the ratio of your collateral versus what you borrowed gets screwed up because the value of the collateral just plummets. Let's say there's a crash in the
Yes.
crypto, you put it, so no different in the housing market. In the housing market, when the values of the homes crash, this is what happened in 2007, 2008, 2009. Your collateral, you don't have enough equity anymore, so they're gonna make a call and they're gonna tell you to pay money up, and they're probably gonna take all your collateral.
Yep. Yep.
So I think when you explained this to me, I thought to myself, this is why I started trading the cryptocurrencies tied to this DeFi process, which Ethereum is one because it's, from what I can read, is the backbone of the whole process as far as the tech goes. You have Aave, like you talk about, Compound, and these other companies that, like Yearn Finance, all these cryptos that have done really well, along with Synthetics, which is one that I've started to trade recently. It almost feels like if the mainstream gets a hold of this, especially the entrepreneurs out there like you and I who don't have W-2s, it's a pain in the butt to go get a loan at a bank. Like
It sucks.
it,
I couldn't. I
it
like
it's
so.
it's impossible.
It's impossible. Yeah, I tried multiple times in 2019. Like even with all the assets that I have,
Right. Assets don't mean anything. They want income.
assets don't mean anything. It doesn't matter. So it was frustrating. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
They want regular monthly income because you got to pay monthly on your loan.
Yeah,
Whereas the DeFi road, you actually don't.
you don't. Yeah.
Want to take a little piece out, pay some of it back.
Yep.
You know, I think that's fascinating. I think that's gonna when at some point in time when people understand that, I think it'll just fuel another run in the market because now it's access to capital. It's a new financial world that's out there. It's gonna take a while for people to get comfortable with it. That's okay. This is what it's like to get in early on stuff. Apple wasn't no back in the day. No one could ever imagine Apple becoming the largest company in the world at one point in time. Amazon, the same thing. Microsoft, when that happened with them, like all these things, like things start small and they gain popularity, and things ebb and flow. But this kind of access to capital for entrepreneurs is huge because small business loans, all these other things that are harder to get, they can get through this way if they have some assets.
Yeah. Exactly. And
And
there's so much other.
with the chance of it getting paid for without them having to do anything.
Yeah. The nice thing is that you hold on to your assets, and
That's
if the asset
nuts.
appreciates, you're good.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Which, in my case, I would pay off right away as I start seeing that happen. Pay it up.
Yeah.
Because I get to keep the money I borrowed for
Yep.
essentially for free in that
For free.
sense.
Yeah, for free.
Outside of maybe that 0.5%. So we want to make sure we mention that.
Yeah.
But so what do you and your partners think about that? Do you think that's a big part of eventually what's going to make cryptocurrency kind of hit the mainstream a little bit more?
No, I can't really speak for them. For me, I definitely think that it's a big part of what's happening in crypto today, and I think it'll play a big part in the future. There's all these building blocks in finance that are being built right now, and they're starting to build the layers on top of those building blocks.
Right.
So I definitely think that, I don't think that DeFi will take over for traditional finance,
No.
but I definitely think it'll live alongside it, and it will give a lot more people access to some of the tools in traditional finance that may not have access to it today, like you and I,
Right.
in our situations, and anyone actually that's in the same situation,
Right.
that has assets, especially if you have crypto assets, you can do a lot of things with that. But there's actually a lot of other interesting products in the field as well. You talked about synthetics. So synthetic assets, where you have an asset that's represented on the blockchain, whether it's an ounce of gold, whether it's a
Barrel of
U.S.
oil.
stock, right? Yeah, U.S. stock, or a foreign exchange, like whether it's a
Currencies.
dollar or currencies. Yeah, that's one of the big fields in DeFi actually happening as well. There's a lot of other platforms that are being built other than Synthetics, Synthetics has kind of been like the first one, I'd say, that gained a lot of traction.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely a lot of things happening around synthetic assets all over the place. Like even FTX, which is an exchange run out of Hong Kong,
Right.
they're actually offering the ability for you to trade Tesla stock
Right.
as a synthetic. So
Right.
instead of having to trade during US market hours, right?
Right.
You could trade 24/7
Right.
Tesla
It
stock
changes
exchange.
changes the game.
It
And
changed the
it's
game.
yeah, it's not that different from an ADR in the stock market where you don't really own the company, but you get to trade the action in the company. And again, but the trading for 24 hours, that's huge.
That's huge, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how all that stuff works on the back end,
Right.
like and all that, but it's super interesting. It opens up a lot of possibilities. I mean, just the idea that you can buy an ounce of gold as a synthetic.
Right. Right.
I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, you're essentially buying a tracking stock.
Yeah,
It tracks the asset's value. So when you look at buying these cryptocurrencies like Compound, Aave, Synthetics, Yearn, Financial, in many ways, these are almost like buying stocks of the company. In many ways, the crypto represents Synthetics as a company.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of the way that I look at it. But for these tokens, some of them earn fees.
Hmm.
Some of them have voting rights,
Hmm.
the governance for the platform.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there there is value that's accruing to these tokens.
Right.
It just depends on the platform and how they want to do it. I think most of them are characterized as utility tokens anyway.
Right.
Um, but that's one way to look at it, and that's one way that people use to kind of evaluate these projects
Hmm.
is the number of coins that they have outstanding, obviously the price, right?
Sure sounds like a stock to me in that sense, right?
Yeah,
All these things you describe, yeah, it sounds like float, shares outstanding. What we don't
yeah,
have too much of is shares shorted, and all these other type of things, which I know we talked about, and we'll save this another day. Maybe wait for Ken to come in, and we'll
yeah,
talk about ways maybe to how do we hedge our portfolio the way I can hedge my portfolio in the stock market, through
yeah.
options, through puts, through shorting, all these other type of things. I think it'd be really fun to kind of dive into all that. All right, man. That's a lot of serious stuff. Like we're kind of done talking about serious stuff. Let's have a little fun here before we wrap up the show.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the new world potentially that we're gonna be in about 2 to 3 months, as more and more people get vaccinated, the numbers get down. Hopefully, it continues on this trend. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna feel comfortable doing 2 to 3 months from now, theoretically?
2 to 3 months from now, you think
Yeah.
it's gonna be a different world 2 to 3 months from now?
So by April, theoretically, there are going to be almost 200 million vaccines distributed,
Mm-hmm.
which that starts hitting a pretty significant number for our population if people take it. So let's just play the if game, okay? So
Right.
all that plays out, everything starts to get our numbers are coming down dramatically. Like Hawaii right now, our numbers are like three people per capita is getting
Yeah.
infected.
So
Our numbers are so low right now.
so I've heard that people in my group, which shall be unnamed,
Yeah.
people in my group are, I think, projected to get the vaccine around, I think,
Hmm. That's three
May,
months from
June,
now.
May,
That's three
June.
months from now. Yeah, 3 months from now. May.
I guess you're right.
Yes, of course I am.
Yeah.
Don't ever forget that.
Well,
So anyway, let's take all that stuff out. I don't want to talk politics. I don't want to talk
yeah.
anything. I just want to talk like what are you gonna feel better doing? What are you gonna do for fun? What's on the list of things when COVID life modifies to the point where things can be a little more relaxed and
Oh,
you feel more comfortable doing things. What's on the
oh,
list?
100%. One of the number one things that's on my list is I'm going to Vegas, and not just for play. It'll be to go to the office. There's maintenance that has to be done. Some other things that need to be done around the office, and I definitely need to do that. But outside of that, probably be playing blackjack
So
for sure.
I definitely can tell you that right now I'm eyeing a trip to San Diego in September because one of my former athletes is getting married, and
Nice.
really it's probably gonna be used more of an excuse to get out and give it a try and see what it's like to be out there. But I'll get a chance to see Evan, the golfer that played in Sony Open, because he goes to
Yeah,
USG. I'll
awesome.
get to see him in his environment. But what I'm thinking is, okay, so I'll go to that wedding, go check it out, and guess where you and I are going?
Where?
Vegas.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
I'll just meet you there because I don't think we're driving there anymore. Are we still driving there? Is that happening?
No, I
Because if
drive
that's
there.
happening,
I drive there all the time.
so if you're gonna
I,
drive there, then I'll just make my way to LA from San Diego and we'll just drive over.
yeah, we'll rent a car. We'll drive out there. I've made that drive so many
Wait, wait,
times in the last
wait, wait.
like
Did you say we'll rent a car and drive out there?
yeah.
What happened in driving the old
Dude,
standby?
my
Because
car is
the car
old,
that
man. We don't want to
that
drive
car
my
that
car. My car
that
might
car
not make it. My
blows
car,
blows doors off of
my
other
car,
cars,
yeah,
man.
my
Blows
car is
doors.
my car is 17, gonna be 17 years old. If you're going out there in September, it'll be 17 years old.
You want to
And
share that story with our audience about blowing doors off
no,
other
I don't
cars?
want to do that.
Let's just say
It would be incriminating.
it involved a cop on his loudspeaker telling us to follow him while he goes after
Let's-
another car he caught speeding, and some way somehow he told us some doors of some cars were getting blown off because people were driving too fast.
Let's just
Something
say,
like
as a
that.
result of that Vegas trip, I had to make another trip out to San Bernardino, Barstow, at 8 a.m. I'd be there at 8 a.m. for court, and the judge was not there when I showed up.
What are we renting? What are we renting to drive out there then? Let's talk about that.
Whatever you want, dude.
Well,
Probably
might
just
rent.
a, huh?
We're doing tour. Are we doing Turo or are we gonna do like a rental car?
No, I rent a car. I rent cars from Enterprise basically, just because they're close
Okay,
to my house and
done.
Alpha used to work there, so I have loyalty.
Oh, Alpha
I
Owens.
have loyalty.
It's a good guy. Entertaining
Yeah.
guy.
Yep. So yeah,
Um,
rent a car, dude. Drive out there.
what do you ride? What do you drive to when you go out there? Like, do you like get a nice car? Do you get a fun car to drive, or do you just get a normal little sedan?
No, it depends on what I need. So if I'm hauling stuff up there, I'll rent like a SUV.
Uh-huh.
Depending on how much I have to haul, I'll get a regular SUV to a larger SUV.
Right.
But for the most part, I'll just rent like a full size or mid size car
Right.
and drive up there.
Right. Right. That's cool. We're gonna drive something nicer. I'm gonna tell you that right now. We're gonna live it up a little bit. Why the hell not?
Yes.
Hopefully it'll be post COVID at that point, or post really being freaked out about COVID. I'm fortunate enough to already have been vaccinated twice, so I've already been kind of dreaming about what I'm doing with my life in the second half of this year.
No, you're good. So Aloha Specialties, I know just opened. They actually just started opening the Vegas shows again too.
Uh-huh.
And restaurants over there have been open for a while now too. So
My cousin hasn't stopped working for the most part. My cousin that works up at the Venetian, he hasn't really stopped working.
yeah,
So I just it'll just be fun. It'd be a good time. It'll be September, so it's football season. So you know what's happening there.
I'm
Maybe
ready.
we'll do our show. Maybe we'll do
I'm
our show
ready.
from Vegas. We'll do
Yeah,
a show
we'll do
from
it from
Vegas, and
Might not
it'll
sound
be a
very
bit.
good if everyone's slurring their words.
Well, I mean that's not happening tonight while I'm sipping on my Toki Highball here and you're drinking your Bullet Bourbon. But
Yeah,
we
I'm
did all
out.
right.
I'm
We
out.
did all right. You're out. Well, we can. I'm pretty close to, so if we can refill. I mean, if you want, I'm down. I'm down for another round.
Yeah, we could do that.
I started a little earlier than you did, so
You sure did, dude.
catch up, big boy.
All right.
Yeah. But that's exciting, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to see you again instead of just through a screen, going to hang out, doing stuff.
Yep.
Hopefully, we'll be celebrating Ethereum 5,000 at that point in time. In which case, we are definitely renting a really nice car to drive over there.
we very well might be. But definitely, if you're really thinking about coming up, is that going to be around the start of football season?
It's going to be the wedding I have to go to is on September 18th. So
Oh, so after the first games then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's let the initial crowd go away. and then let's catch it. Let's catch it from, I don't know what the 18th is. I'm hoping it's a Saturday, so I can duck out early and we drive out and we get our bets in for Sunday morning.
Yeah. You know, every Sunday out there it's good. So
Yep, exactly.
there's
So
always
if I can, yeah. So hopefully, I don't know. Let me look at my trusty other screen here that we do while we talk. Let me tell you when September 18th is. That is a Saturday, Royce. We will be in Vegas by September 19th.
There you go. There you have
We're
it.
gonna leave early. I'm gonna find a way to get. How far is the drive from San Diego to LA?
Oh, from San Diego. So
Yeah.
San Diego to LA is about 2 hours.
Is it better just to fly?
I mean, it depends what you want to do. Like if there's no traffic, it shouldn't take you that long.
Uh-huh.
It's like 2 hours.
2 hours and then 3 hours, right? 3 hours ish. How fast are you driving there now?
It's about 4 hours. Like four and a half hours. 4 hours.
You driving slow
No,
now.
I'm not driving like
Wait.
that.
Should we be giving up 5 hours like that? Should we just fly?
You could. I like driving just because we'll have a car there, but we don't necessarily need one.
Well, we can get a car when we get there too.
You can, yeah.
I don't know. I guess with wait times at the airport and stuff, it might kind of equate to about the same. I guess, sort of.
It's close, yeah, because you're spending an hour basically at the airport. It's a little bit
That's
less.
9 hours. That's
It's
9 hours.
Yeah, say you get an hour at the airport. It's an hour
Fly
flight.
for an hour.
Yeah.
It's half the time.
Then you land. You gotta get your luggage and get out of the airport, which is like probably 45 minutes to an hour.
True. All right, so it's a difference of maybe 4 hours. It is more fun to drive around.
It is. There's nice places to stop in Barstow too. I usually stop at this noodle place that's really good.
I just want to go to Wendy's again. That's all I care about. I just want a bag full of Wendy's for the drive over. I don't know. I don't know how much junior bacon cheeseburgers went down that trip, but it was quite a bit.
I forgot about that.
Celebrating, man. Come on. Who doesn't celebrate with Wendy's?
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of stops on the way to Vegas too. Like we could stop at the oldest bar in Nevada.
Wait.
Pioneer Saloon.
Wait, you talking about on a podcast? You talking about driving, stopping at the oldest bar, and continue driving?
No, it's like right across the Nevada border.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's still another half an hour drive back to
Yeah, but you don't have to get crazy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just saying, because you want to delete that part of the podcast.
Okay, I'm gonna delete that part too then.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna delete that part too.
I just want to know what the limits are here about what we can say. Apparently, you're like the SEC, you know.
Canceled.
You're the
This
FCC, just
canceled.
telling me what I can and can't say. You're censoring me, man. Who you, Tipper Gore? Come on.
Podcast canceled.
Man, that's gonna be fun, man. Yeah, I think travel is definitely, on the docket. Allie's gonna get her second vaccine soon, in I think a couple weeks. So it's just gonna be my son. We'll just have to wait. But for whatever reason, it doesn't affect the younger kids as much. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
no, though you don't want to roll the dice, but
no, we don't know. That's why.
Yeah.
We don't know. That's why.
Definitely seems like we're in the last couple innings.
Seems like it. Feels like the 6th and 7th inning right now.
Yeah.
Feels like it's almost time to bring in the closer back in the day. It's time to bring in Goose Gossage for 3 innings, when closers were real closers.
Wow. I'm not gonna touch that.
Yeah, 6-pitch closer crap. Like, come on, man. 6-pitch closer. I can't pitch tomorrow. I threw 6 pitches today. Oh, come on now. Come on now.
It went all out, man. All out.
For 6 pitches.
Or more. Sometimes it takes a little more.
I'm sorry, 12. All right. Well, with that being said, let's wrap up this show. Anything you want to kind of say to the audience before we kind of tie things up here?
Nope. Just see you on the next podcast.
Yeah, I mean, same here. Again, if you guys are looking into some of the stuff we talked about, the crypto, again, we're not giving financial advice. We're just giving our insight into what we're playing with. And if you find it interesting, please do your homework and please talk to people and get some advice that will suit you best. All right. Well, with Thank you for listening, guys. We hope to see you guys in our stats line, in our podcast numbers. Thank you for listening so far.
Yes,
We
thank you.
appreciate the support.
Awesome.
All right. See you later, guys.
Guys, bye.